Yeah, I want to talk about the Odyssey and Oracle plays when you finished all six, but I did want to make one point about Brief Candles, sort of with the six playlets in mind. You said that you don't think the plays can necessarily go beyond 60 or 70,000 words, but can they sort of, do you have any kind of conception of them being in a sequence of plays that may work, sort of like American Imperium does for poetry?
Well, yeah, I mean, these Odyssey and Oracle plays are loosely connected. Those the first trilogy of infidelity plays, these name plays. I did this. I've got the Janie Fitz is the first of the name plays. There's going to be a play called Maydeen, a play called Landon. The next play I'm doing is going to be called Theodore. That's the one I told you about, where the titular character doesn't enter until the very last scene, and the very end of the very last scene.
Sort of like the third man kind of concept, or
well, except instead of that, he enters in about 60% of the way in. Orson Welles. This will be an entry at 99.5% of the way into the play.
The other point I wanted to make is in regards to the Danny Wagner character and sort of his multifacetedness. Are you going to bring out any kind of fictitious sides of him? For instance, or do you think that some of the...
Well, his love of Megan Morrow.
If he had, I don't mean fictitious in that sense. I mean fictitious in that something that's completely outside of yourself. Say, like, if Danny Wagner is a great artist, but he's also like a Caravaggio, a murderer, or like Roca, something of that sort.
No, because I'm doing that with a lot of these characters. For example, the play that I mentioned with the woman who thinks she's been alien abducted. The real story was that woman did tell me that she was barren and she couldn't have children. So I thought it would be good that in her delusion to try to explain why she ended up not pursuing something with me and then went back to the guy who has cheated on her over and over and over again, was that she had this insecurity about being barren, and she projects this idea that somehow she's still special because these extraterrestrial beings come to her. So that's fictional. These plays are personal and they are somewhat illustrative of my life, but most of them take incidents that happened, like the one with the two Lynn and Lauren Lujack play. What happens is the incident that really happened in my life is somewhere in the past, and we see these characters 15, 20, 40 years later. Another one of them is this Beechwood Park, another Odyssey and Oracle play. That's about, and this is what's really good about that play, is that this was another memoir that I did about the girl who threw the rock at this woman she's inexplicably hated called Big Bird, this skinny, ugly woman. The woman fell and was knocked out. The ambulance came. 3 or 4 years later, this girl became anorexic and just as skinny as the woman she had attacked. And I always thought to myself, there has to be some kind of psychological connection that she was trying to become like this woman to punish herself in some manner. But in writing this play, that incident is almost dead smack in the middle, word count wise, of this play, and you would think that would be the crescendo, the climax of the play, the main axle, but in reality it's not. As I was writing it, the more important character was not the girl who threw the rock, but her older sister, and the relationship or quasi-relationship with the older sister of the girl who threw the rock and Danny Wagner is 98% fictional, because and there we have the Danny Wagner actor, aware that he's an actor playing Danny Wagner, who then takes the role of another character and hits the sheet with the Janie character so that Danny Wagner isn't cheating on his wife. So it's an interesting meta thing within a meta thing. And that character, the Julie Morgan character, I found much more interesting than the Christy Morgan character. And in the middle of writing it, I changed the focus of the play. As I'm writing, I'm saying, oh, this is not going where I wanted. But that's a very good thing, because a much better thing came of it than just me writing a play about this girl and her criminal assault on this woman and ending up in an insane asylum for 30 plus 35 years or whatever it is. That's a much better thing. And so the real dilemma, the biggest dilemma of the 5 or 6 axles in that play is not the guilt that the girl who threw the rock feels, which would be more what even a Tennessee Williams, as a great playwright, would have probably focused on. The real thing is the guilt or not guilt of the Julie Morgan, the older sister, on whether she is putting her sister and signing her sister over to the state asylum because it's good for the sister or it's good for her so that she can get money from selling the family house that she would be the sole beneficiary of. And so that's a much richer, much deeper, much more complex play, and it happened in the middle of writing. And this is what happens when you're doing great stuff. It comes to you, and you have to, as a writer, be able to go with it. And so few writers are willing to do that, to go with what's working. This is one of the things that makes me such a great writer, is I'm not afraid to do that, and I embrace that kind of thing happening. And Beechwood Park is a phenomenally great play. It's a complex psychological play, and it's also got quite a bit of humor as well. And that it's set at a sanitarium only enhances the fact that it's a very rich and deeply psychological play.